The average American spends 4.5 hours daily on their phone. That's over 65 days a year. Imagine what you could do with all of that time. So I read Arnold Schwarzenegger's book, Be Useful, 7 Tools for Life, and it was such an amazing book. Totally changed my life so many ways. There's just so many good nuggets in there. But today we're going to be talking about something that he did called the 24-hour breakdown. And it is super, super cool and really changed my life along with everything else in his book. But this really changed my life, specifically helping me manage my time better, realize what I was wasting my time on, and just really taking my life back. One of my favorite quotes from his book is when he said, "Do you know how many times people tell me that they don't have time to work out? I mean, think about that. They don't have time to work out. And then ask them to open up their phones and show you their screen time stats, and it says that they spent 3.5 hours on social media. It isn't about the hours in the day that you lack. It is the vision for your life that makes time irrelevant." This is so true. I know so many people who will be telling me, I want to go do this sport, or I really want to write this book, or, I would love to take up this new hobby. I'd love to just learn how to figure skate, stuff like that. And when I ask them, why don't you go do that? Go fulfill your dreams. That's amazing. They always say, but I don't have time. And the crazy thing is that we all have the same amount of time. John Saforic said in his book, The Wealthy Gardener, that everyone has the same amount of time. In his book, he quoted H. Jackson Brown Jr. by saying, "Don't say you don't have enough time. You have exactly the same number of hours per day that were given to Helen Keller, Pasteur, Michelangelo, Mother Teresa, Leonardo da Vinci, Thomas Jefferson, and Albert Einstein." This is so true. It's not like some people have more hours than others. They don't. We all have 24 hours a day, and how you spend it reflects what you are valuing and what you are prioritizing. Okay, so let's jump into this. The average American, based on some research I did, spends 8 hours a day working, they spend 7.5 hours sleeping, and they spend 4.5 hours on their phone. If we break that down, that would be 20 hours altogether, okay? So that's 4.5 hours on your phone, 8 hours working, and that is 7.5 hours sleeping. So that's 4 hours that you're not doing anything with, right? So what are you filling this time with? Are you watching TV? Are you on social media? Spending even more time on your phone? Let's say that your screen time is more than 4.5 hours. Spending time on your phone, is it watching your kids? Is it going to sports? What is it? So Arnold breaks down 24 hours basically in a way that makes it impossible to make any excuses of not having enough time. What he does is he takes 24 hours and he has you break it down of what you're spending your time in. So 8 hours working, 7.5 hours sleeping, 4.5 hours on your phone, and so on. And basically, you get to see where your time is going. So let's say that you spend 8 hours a day working, okay? And let's say that includes lunch. So let's add 2 hours for your breakfast and your supper. Granted, we probably don't actually spend 2 hours for breakfast and supper. We probably only spend like one, since breakfast usually, at least in my life, is just really fast eaten. But let's just add 2, okay? That's 10 hours. Let's say that you spend 7 hours sleeping. Let's just say that, okay? That's 17 hours. So we're not taking into account your time on your phone, because I really believe that that is your own thing that you're doing and you're choosing to do that. Work and sleeping and eating is kind of a necessity. So that's only 17 hours. Let's even say that you sleep 8 hours a night, okay? 18 hours. Wow. That means that you have 6 hours a day that you are wasting and that you're saying you don't have, but you really do have. So I absolutely love the 24-hour breakdown, because you're literally just taking 24 hours and you're breaking down how you're using the 24 hours. It is so simple and so easy, but when you do it, you realize, wow, I actually have all this time that I think I don't have. And when you realize you have all that time, you're going to want to start spending less time on your phone, less time watching Netflix, and less time doing things that don't matter to you, because you realize that you have all of this time that you could be using to do your dreams, that you could be using to build your business, to learn how to figure skate, to go play that sport, to learn how to play piano, to do all these things that you've always said you didn't have time to do. And now you have time to go write that novel, to pursue college, to pursue any interest you have. I love it when people are able to take their time back and just realize wait, I have as much time as Albert Einstein did, and I can still pursue my goals. Even though I seem busy, I actually have all of this time left in the day that I didn't even realize I had. Even with all the time you spend on working and sleeping, you still have so much time left to pursue your dreams and to pursue your goals. Arnold Schwarzenegger is an amazing testament of just using his time wisely. He was really able to just use his time to learn how to bodybuild, to act, to learn English, and to get into politics. Like, this guy is insane, and if he can do it with such a busy lifestyle, then you can do it too. You just need to learn to prioritize your hours and to actually realize that you're spending hours on things that you don't actually care about and that don't actually matter. I really encourage you to just spend a day tracking your hours and spend time tracking what you're doing throughout the day. So, saying, oh, I spent 2 hours binging shows tonight, or, I spent 3 hours at my friend's house. Just things like that, especially if it's in your usual routine, just track it out and see, okay, well, this is where all my time is going. If you can't figure out where your time is going, then it's probably not important. You should be able to figure out and measure what you're doing with your time. And if you can't figure out what you're doing with it, then you might need to reevaluate what you're doing with your time. Things that help so much is setting a time limit on your phone, just keeping you off your phone more, and specifically setting aside time to focus on things that matter to you. Because a lot of times what I find is when I want to binge watch shows, or when I want to go on YouTube, or when I just want to go on social media and scroll, it's because I haven't actually prioritized something important for that time. So I've just left open spaces that I haven't filled. So it's really important for you to actually be intentional with your time. And if you realize, hey, I have 3 hours left in the day that I don't actually know what I'm doing with, instead of just leaving it open to shows and whatever might come along, being like, hey, I'm going to spend an hour learning how to sew. I'm going to spend an hour, learning how to play basketball better. Just random things. If you're actually intentional with choosing what you're going to do with your time, you'll actually want to spend less time binging watching shows and scrolling on social media, because you'll have an action that you want to do more than what you were doing previously. And this is where becoming your future self comes in, because you are literally choosing actions that are going to become your future self. So instead of saying, hey, I'm just going to keep doing what I'm doing, which is leaving you in your present self and just binge watching shows and scrolling on social media, leaving you where you are now, you're saying, I'm going to be intentional with my time, and I'm going to take active steps to become the person I want to be. So whether that's, a business owner, an entrepreneur, whether that's an author or a figure skater or a better basketball player, you are choosing action steps to become that person rather than staying where you are, using your time the way that you are now. If you continue to use your time the way you are now, you're going to be the same person you are now in 5 years. But if you actively choose to change your time and change it into the person you want to be, you're going to become the person you want to be. You have 24 hours just like Arnold Schwarzenegger and just like every other crazy person out there that you admire. What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do with your time? If you're kind of confused on what to do next and where to go, I actually have a free PDF that you can download, you can print, and you can actually fill in your 24-hour breakdown and kind of just some questions to help you go through it. So there is a link below, click it. Also, I would love it if you guys would subscribe and like this video, share it with people who you just would love to be more intentional with. And I just hope you guys have an absolutely amazing day, and let's change the world, guys. Let's become the best version of ourselves that we can.